GMAT test sample with answers PDF updated for 2026 pass GMAT first try. Question 1. If dash 3x plus 4y equals 28 and 3x 2y equals 8, what is the product of x and y? Option A, 428. Option B, 622. Option C, 464. Option D, 264. Option E, 642. The correct answer is option D, 264. We can notice that adding both equations gives 2y equals 36, thus y equals 18. From one of the equations we can receive x equals 44 thirds, so the answer is 18x 44 thirds equals 6x 44 equals 264. Question 2. If x plus y equals 2x 2z, x 2y equals 4z and x plus y plus z equals 21, what is the value of y slash z? Option A, minus 2. Option B, minus 4.5. Option C, 3. Option D, minus 1.7. Option E, 2.5. The correct answer is option A, minus 2. There are three equations with three variables. The solution is x equals 0, y equals 42 and z equals minus 21, so y slash z is minus 2. Question 3. If x slash y equals 3x and y equals 4x, what can be the value of 2x? Option A, 7 and 2/3. Option B, 3 and 1/3. Option C, 7 and 1/3. Option D, 2 and 1/3. Option E, 3 and 2/3. The correct answer is option C, 7 and 1/3. With both equations we'll get the following equation: x, 3x 11, equals 0. So, x is either 0 or 11/3. We want the value of 2x, meaning C. Question 4. What is 0.05 asterisk 0.05 in terms of percents? Option A, 25%. Option B, 2.5%. Option C, 0.25%. Option D, 0.025%. Option E, 0.025%. The correct answer is option C, 0.25%. Since 0.05 and 0.05 each have two decimal places, their product must have 2 plus 2 decimal places. Because 5 times 5 is 25, you need to add 2 zeros to get the correct number of decimal places, so the product of 0.05 and 0.05 is 0.0025. To change a decimal to a percentage, you multiply by 100 by moving the decimal point 2 places to the right, so 0.0025 is 0.25%. Question 5. What is 0.04x 0.03x 0.2 in terms of percent? Option A, 24%. Option B, 2.4%. Option C, 0.24%. Option D, 0.024%. Option E, 0.0024%. The correct answer is option D, 0.024%. The number we're supposed to see in the answers is 4x 3x 2 equals 24. It fits all answers. The real question is the decimal of the answer. The basic rule is to add the decimals. 2 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5. We want the answer in percent terms, so we need to take 2 decimals down, overall 3. The answer is 24/1000, 3 decimals, equals 0.024%. Question 6. A computer factory produces 4,200 computers per month at a constant rate. How many computers are built every 30 minutes assuming that there are 28 days in 1 month? Option A, 2.25. Option B, 3.125. Option C, 4.5. Option D, 5.225. Option E, 6.25. The correct answer is option B, 3.125. 4,200/28 is 150 computers per day. 150/24 equals 25/4 computers per hour equals 6.25. Every 30 minutes half of that number is made, 3.125. Question 7. A pizza house sells 30 pizzas on a Friday night. On a weekday it sells 11% less. How many pizzas will the pizza house sell in a 28 days month assuming that Saturday is a no business day? Option A, 320. Option B, 654. Option C, 235. Option D, 600. Option E, 540. The correct answer is option B, 654. On a weekday the pizza house sells 89% of 30 equals 26.7 pizzas. In a month there are 4 Fridays, 4x 30 equals 120 pizzas. There are 4x5 weekdays, there is no Saturday. 20x 26.7 equals 534. Altogether 654 pizzas. Question 8. Bart is working as a paper delivery boy in Springfield. He delivers 620 newspapers every day except on Saturdays and Sundays. If Bart earns 4.2 cents for every second newspaper he delivers, how much money can he earn in a month with 28 days? Option A, $378.20. Option B, $376.50. Option C, $287.80. Option D, $260.40. Option E, $96.90. The correct answer is option D, $260.40. 310 newspapers a day, x, 5 days, x, 4 weeks, x, 4.2 cents, equals 26040 cents equals $260.40. Question 9. A young and energetic cobbler fixes 3,650 pairs of shoes every year, while an old yet experienced cobbler fixes 20% less than the young cobbler. In a shoe factory there are 2 old and 1 young cobblers working together. How many shoes can the factory fix every day assuming that there are 365 days a year? Option A, 26. Option B, 34. Option C, 36. Option D, 44. Option E, 48. The correct answer is option A, 26. An old cobbler fixes 0.8x 3,650 equals 2,920 shoes per year. In the factory there are 2 old and 1 young cobbler. 3,650 plus 2,920 plus 2,920 equals 9,490 shoes per year. 9,490 shoes divided by 365 days is 26 shoes per day. Question 10. A carpenter makes 3 bunk beds every day. A military school needs to organize a place to sleep for 143 soldiers. If there are 5 carpenters working on the job, how many whole days in advance should they receive the order and start working in order to finish the right number of beds assuming that each bunk bed is used by 2 soldiers? Option A, 3. Option B, 4. Option C, 5. Option D, 6. Option E, 7. The correct answer is option C, 5. 143 soldiers is not an even number, so we need at least 72 beds. 1 will sleep alone. The carpenters together can complete 15 beds a day. 72/15 is between 4 and 5, so they will need 5 days' notice in order to complete the job on time. Question 11. Is there a point of intersection between the circle, x2 plus y2 equals 4, and the line, y equals x plus b? 1. A equals b2. 2. The line intersects the x-axis at 40, 0. Option A, statement 1, by itself is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 2, by itself is not. Option B, statement 2, by itself is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 1, by itself is not. Option C, statements 1 and 2, taken together are sufficient to answer the question, even though neither statement by itself is sufficient. Option D, either statement by itself is sufficient to answer the question. Option E, statements 1 and 2, taken together are not sufficient to answer the question, requiring more data pertaining to the problem. The correct answer is option C. Statements 1 and 2, taken together are sufficient to answer the question, even though neither statement by itself is sufficient. From statement 1, we learn that the equation of the line can be written as y equals b2x plus b. From statement 2, we learn that the line goes through the point 40, 0. From that we can find the equation of the line by posting the coordinate in the equation 0 equals b240 plus b. There is no need to solve it, both statements are sufficient to solve the problem. Question 12. Eddie gave Q% of the money he earned last year to his first wife Sandra. W% of the money he earned last year went to his second wife Tawana. How much money did Eddie earn this year? 1. Q equals 20, W equals 2 quetzales. 2. All the money Eddie earned last year went to his 2 wives. Option A, statement 1, by itself is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 2, by itself is not. Option B, statement 2, by itself is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 1, by itself is not. Option C, statements 1 and 2, taken together are sufficient to answer the question, even though neither statement by itself is sufficient. Option D, either statement by itself is sufficient to answer the question. Option E, statements 1 and 2, taken together are not sufficient to answer the question, requiring more data pertaining to the problem. The correct answer is option E. Statements 1 and 2, taken together are not sufficient to answer the question, requiring more data pertaining to the problem. From statement 1 and 2, taken together we know how much Eddie earned last year but we know nothing about this year, we have no connections between them. Therefore, both statements are not sufficient to answer the question. Question 13. Of the 10,000 people that went to the state fair, how many men ate at the fair? 1. The percentage of men who ate at the state fair was twice as those who didn't eat. 2. 3,500 women ate at the state fair. Option A. Statement 1 by itself is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 2 by itself is not. Option B. Statement 2 by itself is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 1 by itself is not. Option C. Statements 1 and 2 taken together are sufficient to answer the question, even though neither statement by itself is sufficient. Option D. Either statement by itself is sufficient to answer the question. Option E. Statements 1 and 2 taken together are not sufficient to answer the question, requiring more data pertaining to the problem. The correct answer is option E. Statements 1 and 2 taken together are not sufficient to answer the question, requiring more data pertaining to the problem. From statement 1, we know the ratio between the men who ate to those who didn't, but we don't know how many men were at the fair. Statement 2 doesn't reveal the number of women that went to the fair, only the number of women that ate there. Therefore, more data is needed to answer the question. Question 14. Out of the 100 kids that went to the party, how many girls danced there? 1. 25 girls don't like to dance and so they didn't. 2. The number of boys that danced is twice the number that didn't dance. Option A. Statement 1 by itself is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 2 by itself is not. Option B. Statement 2 by itself is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 1 by itself is not. Option C. Statements 1 and 2 taken together are sufficient to answer the question, even though neither statement by itself is sufficient. Option D. Either statement by itself is sufficient to answer the question. Option E. Statements 1 and 2 taken together are not sufficient to answer the question, requiring more data pertaining to the problem. The correct answer is option E. Statements 1 and 2 taken together are not sufficient to answer the question, requiring more data pertaining to the problem. From statement 1, we know that 25 out of X girls didn't dance. We need to know how many girls in total were in the party. Statement 2 doesn't tell us anything about the number of boys or girls that went to the party but only the ratio between those who danced to those who didn't. Therefore, more sufficient data is needed to solve the problem.